Hi guys, welcome to Make With Me Monday. My name is Robin French Smith. It's Monday, which means it's time to make something together. And today I think I have everything I need. I'm going to cross my fingers that there's nothing I forgot or left anywhere or forgot to do. So yes, hello. So here's the deal. Okay. I made, not we. It could have been me, but it wasn't. I made some real cool swirl bubble scoops. Yeah. And a lot of people were asking me how I did that. So today we're going to do a version of that, but we're going to do them red and white. Christmas. I know, I hate to give up the fall Halloween vibes, but I know that Christmas is coming and we have to get ready for that. So, okay, we're going to do that. So, we're going to do them red and white, and I'm going to do a slightly different version of what I did for those, but it's still going to be similar enough, and I'll show you how I did those. Okay? Cool. All right. Are you proud of me for drinking water? I need those affirmations. Otherwise, I just stop drinking water because what's even the point? So first off, I have Wonder Bar. Wonder Bar is our favorite solid bubble bath recipe. Okay, hold on. Facebook, hold on one second. I'm gonna put it on Do Not Disturb instead of sleep. Hold on. Okay, because I don't see any comments or notifications yet, and usually I'll see at least these people are watching, even if you didn't comment, but I don't see anything. So I'm just making sure. Okay, so what's Wonder Bar? First, let's talk about Wonder Bar, and then I'm going to talk about the sleep setting on my phone and why I like it so much. So Wonder Bar is our favorite bubble bar recipe. You can scoop it. You can not spook it. You can scoop it, pipe it, roll it, or press it. And the only thing that you change to get the different textures is the amount of processing agent, which we use 91% rubbing alcohol. The smell of the rubbing alcohol fades for me. I never smell it in the finished product. So it's just for me. Also, the amount that we have listed in the recipe is just a suggested amount. So you don't have to use that much. You can use less or more. Kind of depends on you. Okay. So this is Master Batch Wonder Bar. So that means that I made it ahead of time. It's dry, and this is what I'm going to use. And I find that it's so much easier to work with. And I just like it a lot. And we're going to use the rest of what I have because it's 900 grams. I think a full batch is 850 grams or something like that. So we might as well just use up the rest of what we have. Okay. So I'm going to put this into my mixer. I'm going to start mixing. I'm going to use a paddle attachment like so. And I'm going to use this little guard so it doesn't kick out at me. Once I have some more rubbing alcohol added, it will stop flinging stuff. But if I did it right this second, it would fling. Oh, my bad. Also, we're going to add fragrance because there's a blog post on how to Master Batch Wonder Bar, and I'll share that with you because it's kind of a lot to go into, but it's not a lot. It's not complicated, but it's a lot to go into on this. So I'm going to use, anyway, essentially, Master Batch Wonder Bar does not have fragrance in it. So because this is mint, I wanted it to be minty, but I didn't want to burn the bejesus out of somebody's Tinder bits, okay? Because this is a bubble bath. I don't want to be causing any chaos for people. So I'm actually going to do spearmint essential oil, which is a little bit less punch you in the face minty. It's a little bit gentler. It has a higher usage rate than peppermint essential oil, but I'm still only going to use it at 0.5% of this. I think that that's going to be fine. It's going to give it just the tiniest amount of like a mint, but without being like insanely strong. So I'm just going to add that in like this. You're right. Just a little bit more. There are mint fragrance oils that you could use. For example, I have Twisted Peppermint from Muddy Soap Co. Smells really good. It does have a little vanillin in it, and since I want these to be red and white, I don't really want to do that. However, even if it didn't have that, you still need to double check your usage rates with the fragrance oils that have mint in them. So just a little heads up to you, okay? And there's a comment on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Yeah, so I'm getting used to streaming from two places at once. There was a company that I thought about using called Restream, and it allows you to stream from two places, and I would only have to have one device. But the problem with that I'm going to turn this on and start adding my rubbing alcohol. I'll weigh this just so you get a ballpark idea, but I don't usually weigh it. I usually just go by texture. It's a Restream. It was expensive, and I couldn't test it in a group. I could test it on my personal Facebook and YouTube. Like, I could test those two together, but it wouldn't let me test in a Facebook group unless I paid. And I'm not going to pay because I don't know if it's going to work. You know what I'm saying? So, and Korsberg says that they love our channel so much on YouTube. Oh, thank you. That makes me so happy. I'm glad to make other people happy makers. Also, my shirt, Soap Daddy, this is on our Etsy, but my kids, my younger son in particular, was so upset with me. I was wearing it out last week, and he was like, you can't be a soap daddy, you're a girl. And I was like, I'm still a soap daddy, trust me. But he was very upset with me for wearing it out, but I think it's great. Okay, so I'm at 100 grams for my rubbing alcohol. It is pretty low humidity for me, probably high for you guys. It's 46, 47% humidity for me. So if it's taking a whole lot of rubbing alcohol, it could be that your humidity is too low and you maybe need to add just a little bit more humidity. You could also add, no, you can't really add more humidity. I mean, you could try, but more rubbing alcohol. You can just keep adding rubbing alcohol. Or you can add just like 5 extra grams of glycerin, and it works. It helps, apparently. Okay. Let's get ourselves a bowl. And we're going to split this batch in half. And I know I said I would show you the texture, but we're going to mix it up some more, so don't worry. We're going to add probably some more rubbing alcohol to it. We're going to add some more, we're going to add color to it. So we have miles to go before we sleep. So, okay, so the sleep setting on my phone. I'm like driving with my family last night, and I was like, I have been so Tuesday is usually my day off because I do a live on Friday, I do a live on Sunday, and I do a live on Monday. So Tuesday is usually my day off. And I was telling my husband and my kids, I was like, I have been setting my phone to, because you have like focus modes on your iPhone, and I've been setting it to sleep all day on my days off. My day off. I've been setting it to sleep all day. And I was like, it's great because if you put it on Do Not Disturb, you still get notifications. You still have those little red bubbles of like anxiety on every app, you know, like 333 unread emails and 900 things going on over here and 12,000 over here, okay? So, but if you set it to sleep, you don't see, it just clears everything. There's no notifications. And I was telling them how, like, there was a point in my life where I had like a major anxiety attack, which it was valid that I was having it. And my doctor prescribed me like 3 days worth of Valium, not that much. But I was like, it reminds me of the time that I took Valium. And like, I was like, I see why you can't have that one all the time. Because I was so happy. That's the happiest I've ever been in my entire life. Like, nothing mattered. Nothing bothered me. Okay, 450, and then 44, 494. I'm sorry, I'm doing the math to split this. Okay. Anyway, and I was like, I understand why you can't have this all the time. It just makes you, makes you feel great. But having my notifications, having my phone on sleep, it feels like that. It feels like there's nothing can touch me. Okay. So on YouTube, they're asking, what are we learning today? Sorry, Facebook, I still can't see any comments. I don't know. I just don't know sometimes. Okay. So we're making bubble scoops. So a bubble scoop is solid bubble bath. So you can crumble it up while it's in your bathtub as your water is running, and you're going to get bubbles, and it's going to be pretty, and everybody's going to love you because you have a really pretty bubble bath going on. It's going to be great. So that's what a solid bubble bath is. On our Instagram and our TikTok, I posted and also I posted a few times like how to use a bubble scoop. So this last time I sent out orders, I got this idea from Nectaria. So thank you, Nectaria. This is a good idea. But last time I sent out orders, I sent out on the back. Of course I don't have them at hand to show you, but on the back of the orders, I included a QR code that takes my customer straight to that link to see how to use a bubble scoop. They may know how to use a bubble scoop, but I'm just covering my bases and making sure that they know how to use a bubble scoop. You know what I mean? Okay. So this was the white portion. I added some winter white mica. I added some Super Sparkles Eco Glitter for a little bit of shimmer. Okay. And I added a tiny bit more rubbing alcohol. And now you can see the texture we're at is it's not sticking to my glove. That's good. That's what we want. It's not sticking to the side of the bowl. That's good. That's what we want. Because normally for bubble scoops, actually I'd like it like a little bit drier, but because we're going to do a swirled bubble scoop, we're actually going to make it a bubble roll first and then make it a bubble scoop. And is that necessary? No, of course not. You could just scoop it. You could just do red and white inside a bowl, alternate, do like little chunks of them. And we have videos on that, so you could do that. But people were asking, how did I get these swirled patterns in these other bubble scoops? So that's the purpose of this, is to show you how I did that. Okay. And I'm only using 2 colors, but you could use multiple colors. But we're still going to I did 6 layers of my bubble roll. So we're going to do the same thing. And I'm going to cover this. Of course, I don't have a cover for it. I'm going to cover that while we get our red portion ready. So for the red portion, we could use a lake if we wanted to, but a lake is going to bleed a little bit. So I'm going to actually use mica. I've found that it doesn't leave, for some reason, like with bath bombs, the mica will leave color in the tub. But I recently did some brown ones. I did like cinnamon buns, and so I made them brown, and they really didn't color the water. And those even had mica in it. They had lake in it. They had a lot of color. And there's maybe like the slightest brown tint to the water, but just not a lot. So, unlike with bath bombs, mica doesn't really F up your day if you put it in a bubble bar. And it's probably because of the amount of surfactants in here. Like, there's a lot of surfactant. We can add some shimmer to this portion, too. So the red I'm using is Firecracker from Nurture Soap. And you just need to make sure that whatever red mica you're using is lip safe, okay? So as long as you do that, you'll be fine. And we'll see if I need to add more. I'm just going to mix that in there. Look, sometimes I come into the house and I look like Edward Cullen. I'm like covered in glitter. And my husband's like, please don't get into bed with all that glitter. But I do anyway. So we're going to add a little bit of rubbing alcohol to that as it goes. Okay, so YouTube is asking, do I have a studio in my house or somewhere else? So when that's sealed. So when we were buying this house, Baptism Foam was still relatively new. It was still less than 2 years old. And for home thing people, they want your income to be over 2 years. So they wouldn't count my income. How rude. When my husband and I were buying this house. And so we had to buy it based on just his income. And it's fine. I had another business, but that business was also less than 2 years old. So we were having to buy a house based off those needs. And so we were trying to look like forever for a house within our price range that had this extra space. And we could not find it, not within that constraint. So this is actually like a garden shed or like a she shed that we outfitted. And I mean, I'm glad that we did it because it is kind of nice to go. Because our last house, it was like a room in our house, and I kind of like it out here because it's different. I have to come out here. I have to get away from them, so I go to a different space. And so it puts your head in like a different headspace, if that makes sense. I did end up adding some red 27 lake just because it was looking a little pink, So yeah, so this is like an outdoor shed, and then we insulated it and we finished it. We put floors in, painted it, put up all the bells and whistles. Okay, that's a pretty good one. It might look pink to y'all. Ooh, that's a little, I don't know, it's like a little purple. But that's a sprinkle because I dropped sprinkles earlier. It might look pink to y'all. It's pretty red. I honestly don't think people care that much as long as it's not like pink. I think we tend to care more than people do. So, okay, so see how it's a little bit sticky? If I was actually doing just bubble rolls, that sticky might be kind of a problem for me, but it's going to be fine for our actual goal. So we're pretty much done with our mixer. I don't think that we're going to need it anymore. So I'm going to move that aside. I am going to use the scale one more time because I want to separate this out into 3 portions for the red and 3 portions for the white. Okay, so darn math. We're going to do the best we can, okay? With the brain God gave us. It is a brain, but does it always work? No. Okay, we're going to do this real quick. Sorry, I'm doing it on my table because I can just use my Sharpie later and get rid of it. Okay, hold on. No. All right. I'm going to go with, I'm going to say 175 each. Now, like any of these types of projects, you have to just trust the process. It's going to feel wrong. It's going to feel like it's not working correctly or that something bad is happening. You know, your fight or flight is going to rear its head and tell you that you're doing wrong things, that you should probably, it's not going to work. Like, that's all going to happen. You're going to be fine. Trust me, everything's going to be fine. Now, I might not get perfect swirls every single bar, but it'll still look really cool. Okay? So I just want to encourage you. As somebody with a lot of anxiety, okay, I can tell you, you're going to be just fine. All right. I'm going to change my gloves. I probably should have split my white first. But I'm going to change my gloves to try to keep the whites clean. And then we're going to... This is the first time. So I think this is the fourth time that I've streamed on YouTube and Facebook. But this is the first time that YouTube has been like a better experience, I think, than the Facebook. I don't know why. I don't know what to do. By the way, I've wanted to do for the HSCG Guild conference. I'm gonna propose this idea to them, that we have like a really fun, what is that, kind of like an event, like a, anyway, called the Soapers Olympics. Like, one of the skills would be putting on gloves when your hands are wet, because it's a skill. Okay, so let's split our white. And there's slightly less white, but it'll be fine. We're going to do... Wait. Sorry. There we go. I'm like, why is it giving me weird numbers? Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to do this. And then have that. Okay, so we have our batter split, okay? Now, this is just for swirls. You don't have to do all this. You just want scoops, okay? Oh, and Martha over here says, afternoon. Afternoon, hello. Okay. Whew. All right, are you ready? I'm going to get some water. Final countdown. Okay. And I have a tray here, but we're not going to use a tray yet. All right, I'm going to get some parchment paper. So normally, with a bubble roll, I would dust this with a little bit of, I'm going to tilt you down just a little bit so you can see better. I would dust this with a little bit of baking soda or cornstarch so that it wouldn't stick to here. But I don't really care if it sticks, as long as I have this and this. These two things will save our bacon today. This thing is called a pastry cutter and a knife. A knife. Okay, it's got soap on it. It's not dirty, it's just soapy. Different kind of soap. Okay, hold on. Probably gonna kill myself doing this or something. I'll like. It's just, we're a generation that watched Final Destination, and so it's like anything that can go wrong will definitely go wrong and kill you. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the red because it felt a little bit drier to me. So I'm gonna start off with the red, and I'm going to pat it out into a shape of some kind. And I'm gonna, you can use a rolling pin if you want to get it like super flat and like perfected, or you could just do like this, like I'm doing right here. And honestly, if you wanted to just keep it as a bubble roll, you're kind of getting a twofer right now, right? If you just wanted to keep it as a bubble roll, you could do the following steps in this order without doing the final step that we're going to do, and you would have bubble scoops, bubble rolls, things that make bubbles, okay? It gets the bubbles. Okay, next, we're going to go for a layer of white. And I'm going to kind of make sure it's like everywhere. I know it doesn't look like a lot right now. Just hang on to your britches, okay? It's going to be a lot when we're done. Okay. And remember, I don't want it too wet. It's kind of a balance. But anyway, I'm just, not trying to stress you out. I'm just saying, like, it is a thing. Okay. Next, this thing. Okay. And it just stuck a little bit. It's fine. Okay, next, red again. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do the blob method again. Blob, 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 blob. Okay. Oh my gosh. Also, our water. Yesterday, my husband went out for an errand, came back, and like when he came back, he was like, "Did you wash laundry?" Sir. Is that a question? He knows I didn't wash laundry. He was like, because he's asking because there's water all over the garage floor. And I'm like, oh, cute. So we like try to figure out what it's going on. We use dog towels, You have like those towels that are like, that's a dog towel. You might call it something else. If you do call it something else, tell me, what do you call it? We call them dog towels. They're the towels that can get mud all over them from going to the dog park and my dog jumping in the bayou, which is basically like swamp sewer in the South. So anyway, we get dog towels. We're cleaning up this spill. We're also doing we're busy. I had a headache that day, so I'm not doing anything. But he's busy. He's swapping plants for me. He's doing our local plant group on our Facebook, and I have a monstera that got split into a bunch of little baby monsteras. So we're swapping for other interesting plants that we like. And so he goes on a swap run, and while he's gone, I stick my one of these studio lights. I have a little one. I stick that underneath, and I see the water's coming from the wall, and I was like, eh. So anyway, we're like, we don't want to pay for a plumber to come out on a Sunday. So we just turned off the water so it would stop leaking, and now we have a plumber out today. It's so cute and so fun. Okay, I'm so sorry, Facebook. I feel like I'm betraying you, but hey, YouTube's asking questions, so let's see what you got. YouTube asks or says they like that idea. Oh, because they like the studio idea. Yes, I do think that it's really nice to have your own dedicated space. I don't think it's necessary, and my husband is interested in getting a freeze dry machine, and I'm highly encouraging him to do this because he doesn't have a lot of hobbies, He's one of those men's. But he's like, I wouldn't have space for it. And I reminded him that when I first started, my soaping space was literally just a coffee table on the side of our living room that I was just that's where I kept all my soaping stuff. It was just a coffee table. So, you start with what you have. So start, with a coffee table. And then if you have an extra room, start with an extra room. And then if you have the ability to put a studio, do that. If you have the ability to get a brick and mortar, do that. But like, start with what you have. You're good enough. You have enough. I truly believe that. And then they said, thank you so much for letting me know you can actually turn them into a studio. Yeah, so I did. It was expensive. I would say, like, overall, I probably spent about $10,000, like, between the shed, like building the shed, but also like outfitting it to be 100% insulated and watertight. And, I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to have any leaks. No bugs are getting in. I have a window unit here running air. So shelving, flooring, all this stuff. So it was like, they probably should have just given us a bigger house, but what do I know? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so there we have it. We have now our layers. You see this last layer was a little bit short, but that's okay. We're going to kind of square everything up, and then we're going to start doing, I'm actually going to get another piece of parchment paper so I can kind of flatten it out some more, because I want to flatten it out and make it longer so we can roll it. And you can use a rolling pin, like I said, but this also totally works. And we're also not, it doesn't have to be super precise, but I do want it to be kind of thin. I'm not the bubble roll magician that Amanda is. Every time I see her bubble rolls, I'm just like,